Hello, social media family. Justin Patton here. So, listen, I just wanted to come on because I first wanted to just say hello, see how you're doing, check in with you, let you know that I'm thinking about you. I hope you and your family are safe. I hope you are happy and doing well. You know, I think that we are living kind of at a moment of time that can be very uncertain. And I think uncertainty can make us feel a lot of ways. It can make us feel anxious. It can make us feel scared. And I think when we feel those things, sometimes we do not respond in the best way. Hey, Gina, hope you're doing well. And so, you know, I kind of, when in my career, I've always thought when there's a moment in time where we're feeling uncertain, sometimes the best thing that we can do is to create the certainty for ourselves. And so if you're watching this, I think you might be saying, okay, that's great, Justin, but how do I create certainty? We can't focus on the things we can't control. So what can we control? I think we can control a lot of things right now. Where we put our attention, how much time we spend with our family, where we put our energy, all of those crazy things. I wrote down a few things that I think I've been doing just to kind of give you a heads up. For me, I've been taking some time just to rest for myself. I've been taking time to reconnect with my family and some friends that maybe I have kind of missed out on in a while. Thank you, Julia. It's good seeing you here. Hey, Brandy. The other thing, I've been thinking about work, and if I'm being really vulnerable and honest with you, I'm sure like many of you, I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, can I go 2 or 3 months or even longer without a paycheck? And what does that mean? And what does that mean for planning that I need to do differently moving forward? And I know a lot of people watching this are probably thinking the same thing. And so the other thing I've been thinking about is how can I give back a little bit. Right now, you know, they got plenty of time, so what can I do to help other people? Hey, Jerry. Hey, Tanya. Hope you're doing well. I'm a big believer. You know, I teach emotional intelligence, and I always say that optimism is a choice. I don't think optimism means going out and giving yourself a perpetual pep talk where everything is roses. I don't believe that. I think it is about accepting reality and where we are in the world right now, following the recommendations it's been giving. But I also think it's about choosing the mindset that's going to best serve us and the relationships in our life. And so I choose to think that we are all going to get through this, that we are going to be okay, that we will be better because of this in the long run. And so it made me think, I don't know about you all, but have you been watching, like if you watched a little bit of the news, I see those people like in Italy on their balconies singing to each other. And that is shared humanity coming together, and it is so inspiring to me. And then I saw somewhere, I don't know where it was, I don't know if it was in Italy or where it was today, but there were people on a balcony and they were all working out together, all doing jumping jacks together. And I'm like, how awesome is it? People coming together in a crazy situation where I know people are frustrated and they don't want to be there, but they're making the most of it. And I was like, that's what we have to do right now, is how do we make most of maybe the sucky situation that we're actually in? And one of the things that I saw that people are doing lately, there's a lot of celebrities, or there's a few celebrities that are out there. And because they know there's a lot of parents and families at home that are quarantined, they are reading children's books so that the kids could have that book and that reading in their life that they might not be getting in school. And if you don't know, I'm a former high school English teacher. My master's is in reading education. And so I'm so passionate about the impact that reading has, I would say not just on kids' lives, but even ours. I think it lets us kind of get out of our own little world for a moment in time. I think stories allow us to maybe think differently, and some of the lessons are going to challenge us to say, you know what? Like that's a really good way to think about it. Hey, Jennifer, Henry, and Sandy, I hope you are doing well. And so I want to share this book with you. I don't know if any of you all know this book. It's actually by Jim Carrey, and it's called How Roland Rolls. And I was thinking about, like, if I was going to read a book, I was like, what would I want to read to people? If there was a parent that was going to have their kid join, I was like, what would I want them to take away? And I love this book. So kudos to Jim Carrey for writing this. And so it's not going to take me very long, but I want to share it with you. So if you are watching, you're about to have some story time with me because we're about to go in this together. More importantly, I think there's 1 or 2, 3 really powerful lessons that all of us, whether regardless of our age, can really take away. And so as you're listening, I hope that you will think about you know what, that's a good lesson. Write it in the comments section. And I would love to kind of hear your thoughts. If you are watching, if you're seeing this, give me a heart or little thumbs up so I know you're with me. Yes, Tanya, a little story time with me. All right. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back to my high school English teaching days, and we're about to go in together. All right. So it's called How Roland Rolls. And he says, so this little Jim Carrey, hey, Sandy. He goes, somewhere in the middle of the deep blue sea, a wave named Roland came to be. He was headed for some big dreams and goals, and he made lots of good friends because, that's how he rolls. But one day, a big ship cut in between them, and a week or two later, he still hadn't seen them. So Roland's this crazy wave. But that's when a whale jumped up in the air. And when he came down, Roland was splashed everywhere. Poor Roland, he felt lonely. And he cried salty tears, and soon he was facing the worst of his fears. A wave they called gnarly, using maximum suction, could suck Roland up and cause major destruction. But after chewing on a sailboat, old Gnarly, he calmed down. And the sailboat was lost, but all the sailors, they were found. With a wave of relief, soon Roland was met by a funny old seabird who loved to get wet. His old feathers tickled, their new friendship grew, and the old bird introduced him to a wave they knew. Her name was Shimmer, because up on her crest, the sun made her glimmer like he liked her the best. And they rolled on together for thousands of days. They made thousands of ripples that went thousands of ways. Yes, Roland and Shimmer thought love was just grand. But then Roland was told that life ends in the sand. That the coast is a place that a wave can't go past. Unless you're like Gnarly, and even then, you won't last. So the day they saw land, it gave them both such a fright. But Roland kept rolling, and Shimmer stayed bright. And they crashed on the beach together that night. Now, they thought it would hurt when they got mixed together, yet it just seemed to tickle like the old seabird's feather. They didn't feel different, just bigger somehow, like the fish were all swimming inside of them now. Then down they went, whoosh, in the swooshy motion. And when they got deep, they were struck by a notion. We're not little waves. We're this whole big, wide ocean. And suddenly, every wave they ever knew was right there to greet them. And the ripples came too. And they saw that together they played a much bigger role. They were in every ice cube between the North and the South Pole. In all the rivers and all the streams, the puddles, the pools, and Mom's iron when it steams. They fill up the sink that you wash your bowl in. And when you're sad, even your tears are rolling. Now, Roland has everything, which was one of his goals. And he's happy to share it because that's how he rolls. And like Roland and Shimmer, you will always belong. If you think you're just one little wave, you're just wrong. So you're like Roland, and you'll always be rolling along. And so, thank you. I appreciate it. I would love to kind of get what you took away from that. I'll tell you, there's 2 or 3 things that I love about that story. I was writing some things. I think especially right now with what we're going through, in the beginning, he says that Roland had all these big dreams and goals, but then something comes along and it shakes it up. And I think that's what we're all experiencing right now. Before this coronavirus, we were all just kind of living our lives, going to work, having goals and dreams. And now something's come along and it's really shaking it up. And it's about how are you going to react and respond in the middle of all that? I had a mentor once who said, we were going through a big reorganization at work. And he said, Justin, remember this in life. With change, always comes opportunity. And I have never forgotten that line. It's going to suck some. There are going to be moments that we don't like. But with every bit of change, there's going to be an opportunity to maybe get another job that I love even more, or for some others to spend more time with our families, or write that book you've been putting off, or research something, or dream bigger, or just get some rest, right? With change always comes opportunity. And I love that as we're reading that children's story, he talks about as he's getting closer to the shore, and he says that he thinks that's the end of everything, that he gets there and he basically says, it wasn't as bad as it seems. That end just became a new beginning, and it turned into something that he didn't even realize could even be possible. And for all of us watching, I hope that's what happens. I hope that we're gonna all get through this. And I know it's scary right now, and we don't really know when that's going to be or what's going to happen. But I hope we get to the end of it and we say, you know what? There was even more opportunity on the other side, that it's maybe not as bad as we actually thought. And then the last point that I'm really take away from Jim Carrey as he was talking about this children's story is when he says, we are the whole big ocean. And I think that represents that we are so much more than just ourselves, that we are all kind of in this collective world together. And I think we saw that in Italy where people are singing. We saw in the US, I'm sure many of you have seen that story where the old lady was afraid to go in the grocery store. So she cracked her window and gave a lady, money to go in and get groceries for, and the lady did it. And it's like, we are all so much more than just ourselves. And I think when we do that, we feel so much more inspired. We feel better about ourselves. We feel better about the world. And I'll just end with this. In emotional intelligence, they call it social responsibility. And I think it's really important right now with where we are in the world that we practice social responsibility. Take care of yourself. I want you to be taken care of, but it doesn't have to be, I got to take care of me at the cost of other people. It can be a win-win for everyone. And so can we look out for each other as we're taking care of ourselves in the process? So that's what I hope. I would love, how are you all doing, by the way? I see Melissa and Sierra and Marty. I see you're all on. So any questions from you all, what you're thinking about, what you're going through right now, anything? Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you all. Oh, Jerry, thank you. I appreciate it. Likewise, my friend. It's definitely mutual. That's why I always come back to just about optimism. And I've heard this from a lot of other speakers. But focus on what you control. I think we got to be really careful about what we consume and what energy we take in our lives. And I think it's good to stay informed. And I think all of us should stay informed. But I also think it's good about managing to say, you know what? I'm feeling when I'm starting to feel anxiety or stress or anxious, that's my signal to myself that I'm about to walk out of the truth of who I am. And I need to do something for myself to kind of get recentered. Gina, thank you, Gina. I appreciate you. So anyways, I just hope it gives you something to think about. I hope you like the story. I love it. I think it's a really great lesson. If you have a great children's book at home sitting around, I hope that you will maybe even read it on social media for someone. Maybe there's a kid out there who's going to hear you read that story, and I think that would be really awesome. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like being reminded that we're all part of this whole big ocean. I totally agree. I always find myself that when I get consumed with myself and my goals and my dreams and taking care of my family and myself, it can kind of become a really lonely world. And I always feel that the best version of who I am, if I could really say that when I'm at my best, it's never when I'm only thinking about myself. It's when I'm able to be in a place where I feel safe and taken care of, but when I'm also looking out for other people. And so I think it's a good reminder. So Dean, thanks so much. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. I agree. I think this is a great moment for all of us to practice empathy, because depending on people's financial status, emotional, stability and support system, I think everyone's experiencing some very, very different things right now. And my pastor once said, he goes, you can't meet people where they are when you think you're above them. And I think that we've all got to do a really good job about meeting people where they are right now. And for some people, they might not understand why we have to take all these precautions. For other people, they might be saying, no, we need to do this and even more. And I think we just got to be able to sit and listen and really meet each other where they are if we're going to get through this in that whole collective ocean, which we're really in. Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, I agree. I love that. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate it. And there was one more. De Silva. Stay safe from all of us at FP Crew. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, y'all. I'm going to let you go, but I am sending you so much love. And I always say this, but you know it. If no one tells you they believe in you, I believe in you. I am there. Stay connected. If you have a thought or you're going through something, send me a message and I'll come on and do some other stuff in the future. But remember, great story about how Roland rolls. Remember, you keep rolling along. I believe in you. I'm sending you so much major love. Stay safe. Take care of yourself and your family, and take care of each other. Love yous.